What the f*** did I just watch? The Cure for Wellness is the latest film starring Dane Dehaan, directed by Gore Verbinski, and written by Justin Haythe, the brilliant mind behind The Lone Ranger. Take that for what it's worth. So it's kind of difficult to describe this movie without giving too much away, but basically Dehaan plays Lockhart, who's this young executive on Wall Street that's sent to go retrieve the CEO of the company, who's gone off to this mysterious and completely sketch wellness sanctuary located in the Swiss Alps. The sanctuary is built on this ancient aquifer because all of the treatments use this special water that supposedly has healing properties. This movie uses lots and lots and lots of water, so much water that it becomes excessive regardless of the significance of the plot. Lockhart gets his leg broken in a car accident, so the sanctuary decides to bring him in as a patient against his will, and that's when a lot of weird shit starts to go down. I'm very conflicted about this movie because it certainly isn't a bad movie, but I really do not feel that this was a good movie. Although I'm a fan of Dane Dehaan, I found his performance to be a bit uninspired and forced for at least the first third of the movie, which made it extremely difficult to invest in his already unlikable character. And that's honestly one of the biggest problems in this movie. You just don't care about the main character. He comes off as this pompous jerk with a really thin and unoriginal backstory that really doesn't match any of the character choices he makes later on in the film. And this isn't Dehaan's fault. It's a matter of poor writing and really poor directing. Now, when I say poor directing, I don't mean that this movie was directed poorly all around. I'm just saying in terms of directing his actors, Gore Verbinski clearly did not know what he was doing whatsoever. In a movie as fantastical as this, you really need to cast a strong performer to get the audience invested. And sadly, overall, the supporting cast just falls flat. Jason Isaacs was really the only notable character in this film. He plays the stereotypical creepy doctor who has a whole bunch of shady secrets that's driving the movie forward. But unfortunately, his backstory and climax as a character are unearned, and to be completely frank, stupid. There's this ancient folklore element to this movie that at first is somewhat interesting before it ultimately becomes predictable as they reveal that secret within the first 20 minutes whether they wanted to or not. This is one of those cases where the movie plays out exactly how you're expecting it to, where it eventually reenacts that underlying story. And because you figure out that mystery so early on, you're essentially left with another 2 hours of an extremely drawn-out movie. The first 2 acts of this movie are extremely poorly paced with no real direction for its characters. The film is primarily comprised of interesting and really pretty imagery with no greater substance underneath. And what's even more frustrating about the first 2 acts is that the movie borders this line of creepy a few times, but then never truly invests. And to make matters even worse, they wait until the very last act of this movie to pick up all of the action and to finally fully engage you as a viewer. The pacing improves significantly here, where they force multiple horrific scenes near the end. But this would ultimately become another major issue I had with this movie. There are several torturous, creepy, and just outright disgusting scenes that are used for nothing else besides pure, cringeworthy shock value. These scenes add no supplemental value to the plot, the characters, or anything. They're simply in the movie to make you feel uncomfortable, and not in the successful way. Now, for me, it's just difficult to watch a film where, regardless of the actress's age, depicts a character that has just come of age, in frontal nudity, being raped. Just a disclaimer, although the depiction of rape can serve a purpose in film, it was completely distasteful and forced here. Although we've already seen Mia Goth do some taboo works in Nymphomaniac Volume 2, the context of this movie just makes you feel gross. This movie also does a really great job at creating a series of unanswered questions that would have provided a lot of great depth to the trio of stories that are being focused on. There is very little effort to form some type of connective tissue between Lockhart, the folklore, and the present-day mystery, which makes this movie completely unravel and fall apart. There are multiple motifs in this movie that are completely unexplained or just briefly alluded to. They never truly explain what's special about the water or how it's affecting his patients, or even provide a justifiable, logical reason why the doctor is using human test subjects. For example, there's this overemphasis on eels in this movie to the point where it becomes annoying because they never revealed their significance. They do show how the eels are used, kind of, but then they never explain what the point or the end result is. Side note, not all thrillers need a big reveal or twist at the end. This film is another example of forcing a weird and unwarranted twist that completely uproots the movie. Seriously, it's so stupid that my theater laughed. And another thing, unnecessary, out-of-place, high-pitched sounds for the sake of a quick jump scare? That's a no-no. Aside from great cinematography and decent performances, there are far too many issues with the characters, an extremely stupid plot, and poor directing that warrant this movie being watched. And for all these reasons, I'm gonna give A Cure for Wellness a 5 out of 10. I know, I haven't posted a video in a long time. At first I had a reason and then I didn't, but really I've just been lazy. But I promise I'm gonna try my best to post more often. So A Cure for Wellness, have you seen it? Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. And while you're at it, let me know what your favorite Asylum movie is, and at the same time, let me know what you think about this new setup that I have going on. I'm just trying it out. So if you like this video, don't forget to hit like. If you want to stick around and watch some more movie reviews, hey, hit subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.